Boxing Truth here. Some more details are coming out for this big unification fight taking place at super bantamweight between Scott Quigg and Carl Frampton. It's a long-awaited bout. It's been talked about for a couple of years. Fans have been wanting to see this fight, especially in the UK. It'll be live on Sky Sports box office on February 27th. Right now, I'm leaning towards Scott Quigg to win the fight. I wasn't impressed with Frampton's last performance. It was supposed to be a showcase fight against Gonzalez. He got quite a scare, got knocked down twice early in the bout, but was able to rebound. He was able to bounce back and back up and win the fight on points. Wasn't an impressive showing though. He didn't wow any fans with that performance. And Scott Quigg, he's coming off the good win over Kiko Martinez at 122, destroyed him in 2 rounds. It's an impressive win at the time. Kiko was regarded as a guy that would give him some work, durable, but Scott Quigg impressed, got him out of there real quick. Now the details coming out for this unification, and the WBA, which is the belt that Scott Quigg owns, he was promoted to super champion earlier last year after demoting Rigondeaux to champion in recess. The reason why was because Rigondeaux wasn't active, was having promotional issues. No network was willing to showcase his fight. Then finally he signed with Rock Nation, got a pretty decent payday to fight a no-hoper in Gian Francisco. He didn't impress in that performance though. Bored everybody to death. This wasn't the Rigondeaux that most people were used to seeing. He stunk it out. Now, the new president of WBA, Gilberto Mendoza Jr., he's making another good decision. He's already stated that the winner of the unification fight between Carl Frampton and Scott Quigg will have to fight Guillermo Rigondeaux by July 27th, on or before July 27th, 2016. Now, what's interesting is that this unification fight could very well be that the winner of this fight will lose one of their belts, because the IBF is the belt that Carl Frampton owns, and they're gonna mandate a mandatory defense for that title once the result of that fight is known. So the winner of that fight is gonna have to make a choice of whether to keep the IBF belt or the WBA super title. Hopefully it doesn't come to that. Hopefully whoever wins that fight, the team could perhaps negotiate an exemption from the mandatory defense. Who knows? The IBF's very strict. I don't even think they take step-aside money for their contenders. I'm not really sure. It looks like one of those guys are going to lose a belt for this unification. It's unfortunate. That's how it is in boxing. It's very hard to get an undisputed champion these days, especially with the IBS rulings. Every 9 months they mandate mandatory defenses. Very difficult for unified champions to become undisputed. However, I like this decision by Gilberto Mendoza. Let's see if the winner of Quigg Frampton will fight Rigondeaux. There's a lot of disbelief that either of these guys have any interest in getting in the ring with Rigondeaux, but I don't see why not. I mean, Rigondeaux didn't impress me at all in his last performance. He just pretty much outpointed the guy, played it safe. He didn't take any risks, and it was against the guy he was supposed to look good against. He was supposed to look explosive, but it was a sparring session. He bored everybody to death. It was one of the most boring fights I've ever seen, and Rigondeaux didn't show me he was still elite with that performance. His last fight, it's not an easy fight for Rigondeaux. Whether it's Frampton or Scott Quigg, and I'm leaning towards Scott Quigg. And if Scott Quigg is able to pull off this win on February 27th, I think he has a hell of a chance to beat Rigondeaux. He's a young lion. He's strong. He's an aggressive fighter. It won't be an easy fight for Rigondeaux. I mean, he will have to be more explosive against these guys to he can't just out touch these guys to a victory. He has to do some damage. He has to throw more punches. He's got to look more explosive because these guys are in their primes. They're young champions. They're strong. Especially Scott Quigg. He's very physical. He comes forward. He likes to do damage to his opponents. So I'm favoring Scott Quigg at the moment. I have to watch more tape, but Carl Frampton he's the more of a boxer type. He likes to use more of his skills, stay on the outside, but he's a small guy for the division. He's a lot smaller compared to Scott Quigg. Scott Quigg I think he's a stronger guy, more physical, especially. It should be a good fight, but right now I'm leaning towards Scott Quigg, and hopefully the winner of this fight will face Rigondeaux before before July 27th. And Rigondeaux, he needs to get back in the ring. He needs to show the boxing world that he can be more explosive than that. Obviously, that performance was dreadful. Not sure HBO even wants to have Rigo back on the network, but he'll have to find a good opponent to get back on that network. Scott Quigg will definitely be that opponent because of his style. He'll bring it to Rigondeaux, and I'm sure HBO would consider buying that fight if Scott Quigg is able to beat Carl Frampton and is willing to unify with Rigondeaux. Anyways, that's the news for this unification fight. It's coming up. Let me know what you guys think. Who you think will win this fight between Frampton and Quigg, and which one would you like to see Rigondeaux fight, Frampton or Quigg? This is Boxing Truth. I'm out.